The NASCAR Cup Series had their rain boots ready this afternoon, but we're having fun in the sun this evening with the MPI Cup Series at Watkins, Glen. Just 2 rounds remain as the field prepares for the playoffs, and points are beginning to run out. Can a wild card grab a win at the Glen, or do Mario Miranda and Lawson Peel continue their reign of road course dominance? Hi, welcome to PitStop TV in the virtual Watkins, Glen, New York. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Emerson Arden alongside. And finally, someone snapped Lawson Peel's win streak last week at Richmond, and Mario Miranda did it in dominating fashion. But if Mario wants to vie for the top seed in the playoffs, he's got to win out this evening here at Watkins Glen and next week at Daytona International Speedway, all while everyone else in the field fights for their own season-changing wins. A win means so much in today's NASCAR world, so it gets you to the playoffs. That's exactly what it does. Even for Zach Wilson, somebody outside of the top 30 here in the MPI Cup Series, a win means so much, Emerson. So for Mario to vie for that top seed, boy, it's going to take a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure, he's feeling very confident to do so. Again, last week, dominant, led all but 8 laps last week into his victory at Richmond. But ever since we came on to the MPI Cup Series, Andrew, we saw Mario Miranda and Lawson Peel kind of be the two to beat on these road courses. We saw Miranda kind of dominate all Lakota and Peel catch up at the very end. Obviously, they had their contact. Peel went on to win. But if anyone, is able to go ahead and catch Lawson Peel, it's going to be that 99 Mario Miranda.
Here you go. Welcome to the 2.45-mile Watkins Glen International, and let's take a look at our track map this evening. And there's a lot to talk about, I think, with this track map brought to you by Whiplash Media SimCams. That said, it is also one of the, I guess, less interesting as far as the layout itself. Tracks that you look at on the NASCAR circuit, at least as far as road courses go. It is very, very simple. As you've said, Emerson, go ahead and say it. It is a...
It's a Popeye's biscuit away from being an oval.
There we go. Yes, it is very close. If you were to just turn the other way and make left-hand turns at turn 1, turn 7, and so on, it would be a very different course. It would feel very much like an oval, just with a few extra twists and turns. But turn 1 is a very, very tough braking zone. We always see a lot of mistakes down there, whether it's NASCAR, whether it's IndyCar, IMSA, whatever kind of cars you bring here. It's a very, very tough corner to get right. And, of course, through the S's, you're going downhill as you approach turn 2. You compress and go up that hill. And in practice, at least for myself, you can tell me differently if you had different experiences in official racing. But practicing this track for myself with this car, I got loose in turn 2 a lot. Going up the S's, that compression really got a whole lot of things moving around in the car, and it just seemed like the rear of the car wanted to dance away. And if it didn't happen in 2, it sometimes happened in the transition between 2 and 3 in the S's. But if you got over turn 3, it seems like this car is much more planted through turn 4, and you are safe to just plant the power down and run to the bus stop. If you can get through the bus stop fine, which, that's a whole thing of its own. It's the carousel, turn 6 and turn 7, relatively straightforward to the back end of the circuit. But Emerson, turn 2, I feel like, is going to be an issue.
Absolutely. With this new car, the next gen car, Gen 7 car, the weight kind of shifts weirder in the car. It's more, of course, the car has a lower center of gravity, is much more lower to the ground, flat to the ground. But it does. The rear end likes to get a little tail happy coming through 2, and if you're not able to control that or not able to control it fully, you will feel that as a result in 3 as well. But as far as Watkins Glen goes, it is being realistic. It is the most friendly road course on the NASCAR circuit to a oval driver that doesn't have much experience or all that much success on road courses. There's really only 2, maybe 3 real braking zones they have to nail, and a lot of high-speed corners that are easier to grasp in the more technical sections. The one real technical section being the bus stop. So tonight, we may see some of the drivers who maybe didn't fare too well on other road courses maybe have a little bit of a step up tonight.
Qualifying underway, you can see cars are on track. Let's go ahead and bring this back down. Let's actually talk about the point standings coming into today. Mario Miranda finally cracking 1,000 points, bringing Lawson Peel with him at 1,005. And you can see Steven Sempion dropping to that 3rd spot, a little ways back now, nearly 100 points behind Mario Miranda. He is out of this running for the top seed in these playoffs, but Miranda can still get it. And you see him listed as number 1 here, and you can see Joseph Mahar listed as the first driver out here on this screen by 1 point, but that is not quite the case. Let's bring up this other page, and you'll see how things differ, because we'll bring Zach Wilson into the top 8 with his win, and we move Lawson Peel up to the top with his 2 extra wins over Miranda. So 2 very different pictures, and you can see now Austin Shoemaker, the final car in after Richmond last week. Kip easily there at 17th, Joseph Mahar at 18th. It's going to take a win for Stevens or Bland. I think Travis Stevens could maybe point his way in, but it's not very realistic. Same for Parker Bland. Realistically, they've got to win races, but if you're inside the top 18, you can still point your way in. Mahar, easily. Certainly anybody above that cut line right now can easily point their way in, obviously, if they're pointing their way in currently. But it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a really solid effort today. And this is not a very long race here at Watkins Glen. Only 50 laps today for the MPI Cup Series. You have got to be on it. You cannot dilly-dally. You cannot waste any time. So we'll see if that brings some new effects here today.
Yeah, absolutely. You say, obviously, drivers have the ability to point their way in, but easily the same way could be the other way around. You're a driver that's in right now, especially if you look at Garrett Brown and the Shoemakers, they could easily fall out with a not-so-great day today. It doesn't even have to be a bad day, just a day that's not up to the same par if easily Mahar have a great day or a good day. And that's kind of the idea we were looking at last week with how chaotic Richmond was, Andrew. We talked about how everything was going to flip on this second sheet or second side of the point standings here. Really, the only ones that are in points-wise is Muscarella and Michel, should he really start today's race.
Yep.
Other than that, everyone else is still pretty much up for grabs in terms of pointing their way in. Of course, if you add, a new winner tonight and a new winner next week, then that changes the whole outlook a little bit more.
Yeah, I think really Muscarella and Michel are the only drivers completely safe. Brandon Banks and Dakota Curtis, it can be pretty relaxed today, I think, and even Curtis Kelly, but they can't get too relaxed, especially next week at Daytona. It's very easy for them to get swept up in a lap one mishap and, earn very few points next week, potentially one with this points format. So it's very, very easy, I think, to see a world where at least one of those drivers maybe doesn't make these playoffs, and Kip Easley, Joseph Mahar gets an easier time in. But it is going to take a lot of things going just right for that to happen. Qualifying wrapping up already for some drivers. As we've taken a few minutes to go through our standings, let's bring up the standings as here goes Lawson Peel across the line to complete his second lap. It is not quite good for pole. I gotta say, I am happily impressed with Steven Stempian on pole right now at a, it's a 1:11.227. That is quick, and that's quite a bit quicker than I would have expected him to be, quicker than Austin Riddy or Lawson Peel. I mean, he is flying right now as the 81 car.
Absolutely, and Stempian, of course, he's fast everywhere. He's one of the drivers up at the top of the playoff standings, the point standings. But road courses, we haven't seen them really be at the Peel Miranda level. And Peel right now is sat third as we're watching Richard Swavely work his way through the final corner, up out of the final corner, down the straightaway, and we'll see where Swavely goes if he can improve from 12th, and he does to 11th. But as far as Stempian, this is kind of refreshing to see because he's up there in the top 5 at these road courses, but hasn't made it to that top step, and looks poised to do so at least right now in qualifying.
Here's a view of Curtis Kelly headed down the backstretch now with his fast bid on number 29, 6th in qualifying, just ahead of Ross Harlow, last season's champion. Alex Muscarella in the 5th spot. Daniel Michel, Lawson Peel ahead of him. Austin Reedy and Steven Stempian, your tentative front row. Warren Kyle Keith in the 8th spot. Joe Sanchez, Justin Erb in the Whiplash Simcams number 24, making up the rest of your top 10. There's Zach Wilson up to 12th in qualifying. Kevin Hurley on track, currently 19th, beginning lap number 2. And Dustin Reeves wraps up lap number 2, it looks like, and is on an extra lap as he sits in the 27th position in qualifying. Mario Miranda's on track here, Emerson, and he's wrapping up lap 1.
This is the guy we've been all waiting and watching to see here. Is he going to be able to put himself up on that top spot in qualifying? Right now it's second quickest, but he's got himself another timed lap. And Andrew, the trend with these tires and these next-gen cars and in qualifying, really in any track at the next-gen car, but especially road courses, is the second lap in qualifying, especially in most, with ovals included, is usually faster.
He's pushing. That was real close at the guardrail between 3 and 4. I think the big spot on this track, now that he's within a 10th and a half of Stempian, is this right here, the inner loop, the bus stop. If he didn't get an off track there in the first apex, it was close. He's on the curbing. He is sending it around Watkins Glen, but is it enough to put the 99 car on pole this evening? Kevin Hurley at the 13th spot, by the way, in qualifying. A few other cars on track, including Casey Knighton and Garrett Brown. Miranda's first lap, second, only a 10th and a half off, Emerson.
You're right. The other thing I was afraid of, he got really close to that guardrail entering the bus stop, and I was hoping that he did not pick up a 0x even for the slight brush of contact. But through the final corner, looks like he kept it full power to the line. Here he comes.
To the start-finish line goes Mario Miranda, and it is good enough for pole. Car 99 clearing Sempion by 2 extra tenths. A new fastest lap, and a new fastest lap graphic there as well. Beautiful looking lap for car 99. Casey Knighton on track. This is his out lap, kind of sightseeing around the place, getting his bearings after practice. Garrett Brown did start a second lap and complete a first lap, but no times will count. Same for Cody Kinsey, who has completed his allotment of laps. Bill Schoonover, Travis Stevens, Ray Rogers, Charles Feltz, Daniel Holdcroft, Chris Pogar, and Brandon Banks. Actually, scratch that. Everybody but Brandon Banks making no attempt. Brandon Banks has made attempts but did not complete clean laps. So with 2 minutes to go, it looks like Casey Knighton will be the final car that attempts a qualifying lap, Emerson, and he's beginning lap 1.
Ryan, we'll see here. Is he able to push these braking zones a little bit? You had all that practice time. See what you can get into off the corner here. Track limits is going to be a fun thing to deal with tonight. You see there, he actually does not even try to play with them there. He keeps to the right side of that carabiner, which is, the racetrack side, but you are able to put 2 lefts over the non-racetrack side, or, extend 2 tires over that carabiner, but not 4. So it'll be fun to see what these drivers decide to do down in turn 1, especially on starts and restarts.
Weather on screen, 85 degrees in the air, 127 on track. Wind out of the northeast to 8 miles an hour. Thankfully not 80 miles an hour. That would be not good, we'll say.
Not fun racing conditions.
Good to see you guys checking in over on YouTube chat. I'm sure Twitch and Facebook as well. And I see that T. Bland has sold one of her first commission paintings. So congratulations there. Always good to see what you guys are up to over in the YouTube chat. Once Knighton wraps up this lap of qualifying, he won't be able to put down another one. He won't have enough time, so we'll talk about the schedule here. But Casey out of the final corner. We'll see where the mock media number 84 Toyota Camry goes on the timing charts. It's going to be a 1:13 and change, a 1:13.6. That's good enough for 23rd spot, just behind Justin Winters and just ahead of Parker Bland. Let's talk about the schedule and how we got to this point in the season, Emerson. We picked up coverage way back at COTA. Austin, round number 6, and then picked up Richmond for Podium Esports, held coverage all the way through Sonoma at race 15, gave it back to Podium for one race, picked back up at Road America, and for the last few weeks we've been talking about, we got to fix the graphic and get yellow numbers in for 25 through 35, but things have changed. And this is the final time that we'll be covering the MPI Cup Series this season. Podium Esports is taking back over after this evening and beginning back at Daytona International Speedway, carrying on through Darlington, Kansas, Bristol, so on and so forth. So the playoffs, of course, and next week, Daytona will be found on Podium Esports, will not be found here on PitStop TV. We wish everybody the best of luck, and it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of see how that plays out. Unfortunately, it won't be with us on the call, but I'm excited to see who wins this season of the MPI Cup Series. But with that said, we have cars getting ready, cars gridding up on track. Let's go ahead and meet our starting grid for the MPI Cup Series at Watkins Glen. It's going to be a short pace lap, but starting on pole, we are going to have, of course, Mario Miranda going to try and get 6 wins this evening. He's got to hit 7 by the end of the regular season to take the top seed from Lawson Peele. Steven Sempion, a 4-time winner, starts from his left side. I believe it will be, yes, left side for the outside here at Watkins Glen. And if it loads, there we go. Austin Reedy will start from 3rd, a couple of wins for his season, and Lawson Peele starting 4th. So the cream rising to the top in qualifying, and there's Daniel Michel, Alex Misgrello, the top 2 drivers this season without a win. Starting from 7th, Curtis Kelly in car 29, Ross Harlow in car 5, and to round out your top 10, Warren Kyle Keith and Joe Sanchez.
11th will find the 24 of Justin Erb, the 32 of Richard Swavely. He will start 12th. 13th will find the 42 of Kevin Hurley and the 51 of Zach Wilson. He will round out row 7 there in 14th. 15th is Austin Shoemaker, having a little bit of a reset there. We'll be intrigued to see if he gets you in before the session starts the pace lap, and Kip Beasley will start 16th. 17th will find Jesse Whittington in the 94, and the 4 of Chris Shoemaker starts 18th. And rounding out row number 10, it'll be the 68 of Ryan Kendall, the 23 of Dakota Curtis.
Starting 21st, you'll find Isaac Mock in the number 7 car just to the right side of Justin Winters. Then we get back to Casey Knighton, Parker Bland, those couple of guys we talked about just a few moments ago. Judd Danielson starts from the 25th position this evening. Logan Sturgeon, matching his car number, qualifies 26th tonight here at Watkins Glen. Starting 27th, you'll find Sean Kalist. Justin Hendry starts 28th. And if you wrap up your top 30, you've got Dustin Reeves and James Kunkel.
31st will be the 2 of Travis Stevens, and Bill Schoonover will start 32nd. 33rd, we'll find the 1 of Ray Rogers, the 54 of Brendan Banks. He will start in 34th. 35th, it'll be the 75 of Charles Phelps. The 17 of Chris Progar will start 36th. 37th, we'll find the 16 of Garrett Brown, one of those drivers above the cut line, needing a good run today. Starts a little farther back there. And round out the field, Daniel Holdcroft there in 39th.
It'll be a quick run to the starting flag this evening, the green flag for the first time here at Watkins Glen. The pace car will dip to the inside and go back to the safety of pit lane, but we are getting ready for racing here at Watkins Glen. Green flag is already out, we're off and away. Onto the backstretch, Mario Miranda still leads over Stempian, Peel, Reedy, and Moore, side by side of the 53 and 96 down to the bus stop.
All over the curb, and you see
these the 51 sliding, that is Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson in trouble in the inner loop. Looks like he avoids damage, though, from what we can tell, and he will try to get back rolling, but that's a huge loss of positions for Zach Wilson. Also, Austin Shoemaker did not
Ross Harlow round on the short shoot to turn 6. Car 5 trying to get righted. You see the entire field going by. It's going to be tough for him as the rest of the field works on out of turn number 11. Here is Mario Miranda going to the start-finish line to wrap up lap 1.
Stepney has kept up really nicely with Miranda throughout the opening lap. I know it's just the opening lap, but he has not tapered off at all from Mario Miranda.
Dustin Reeves with problems as well. Car 6 backwards. And there he is. This is somewhere in the neighborhood of turn number 6. A really precarious spot. I'm not sure why he's avoiding the gravel the way he is, but going through the grass, trying to get back onto the racetrack is Dustin Reeves. Ross Harlow gets back righted. He is in the 38th position after lap 1. Austin Shoemaker in 37th after starting from the pit lane. And Zach Wilson drops to 31st after lap 1 with his issue with the bus stop. But the good news is his car is not dinged up, much like Kimi Räikkönen's from earlier today. So the rest of the field now working through the carousel. Mario Miranda leading, playing with those track limits. You can see these guys really using the extent of those track limits at a turn 5.
And that's all available. And really, the only price you have to pay is if you're alongside somebody is hoping to give you that spot to return back to the racing surface. Other than that, it is all free to use. And drivers are definitely taking their money's worth down at corner exit at the carousel.
Let's talk about Steven Stempian and Mario Miranda out front as Lawson Buell sets a fast lap in 3rd spot. You mentioned Stempian kept with Miranda. Well, we were so surprised by Stempian's pace in qualifying, and we thought maybe he was going to put it on pole. Not quite. Gets bested there by the end of the session by Miranda, but he is keeping right with the 99 car. That said, you can see just little bits where the 99 starts to step away. Now the draft is coming back into effect for car 81. He's pulling back in a little bit, but definitely Miranda's the better car right now, better driver.
At this moment, definitely, I want to see what Stempian will do as the tires wear in, and it's almost like we've got endurance tires on these Gen 7, these next-gen cars, Andrew. It almost feels like the cars get faster on older tires. Actually, that is true. You run faster lap times, closer to fuel runs, and you've even heard strategies of people not taking tires in races. I think we saw that at Road America.
Yeah, it's an interesting compound, and I've tried it myself actually with the Outlaw Sim Series at the Laguna Seca. It is a very interesting compound. It's not like anything I've driven on a stock car before, but it's a very, very hard rubber compound that Goodyear, Goodyear, if you will, has brought to these cars on iRacing. As Stempian goes purple that lap, then Reedy goes purple. These guys are putting down some flyers. I'm not sure they're going to beat these later in the race, but we'll watch for it just in case they are. And I'll eat some words from last lap. Stempian, fastest car that lap. I'm impressed.
I would have agreed with you with that statement as well, because it looked like he had a huge bobble entering turn 2, but it might have been all for naught. Maybe it helped him.
So lap 4 down the backstretch. Our first stage break will come in about 10 laps, the completion of lap 14, then the completion of lap 30. Actually, scratch that, the beginning of lap 15. So, yeah, the completion of lap 14, then the completion of lap 29. There we go.
I still can't fathom. I guess there's the one way to look at it, that you would try to avoid, any opening lap carnage. But being Austin Shoemaker just above the cut line, I can't believe you give him a 15th place starting spot with a chance to potentially get into the top 10 in stage 1.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and really the only way I see it working out for him, this is going to be a tough strategy to execute, being that he's 27 seconds behind the race leaders, would be to pit right before the end of the stage and try and use that to your advantage, not have to pit at the stage break and move back up through the field. I just don't know if that's going to work out for him. That's the only option I see he's got, though. Emerson, honestly, I don't see how he fights his way back to the field from 37th. He's not running down Daniel Holdcroft like he needs to, or Garrett Brown, or Ross Harlow, who are all directly in front of him, or even Ray Rogers, or any of these guys. His lap times look like 37th, and he needs to be at least 10th.
Yeah, that's fair. And there's a long trade of cars. You see a driver ahead of him locking up. It's going to be hard to move through.
Yeah, a lot going on through the mid-pack. Chris Progrard, Judd Danielson. Look at this gaggle of cars down the backstretch, Emerson. There is a lot happening. Logan Sturgeon is in this. Justin Hendry as well, and his red Toyota Camry moves on by. A whole field of cars working through the bus stop. It's only lap 5. Keep that in mind, as Parker Bland has got problems right on the top of the carousel. Oh, boy. That is not how you make the playoffs.
It's an unfortunate incident there, but I think the fortunate part of that is that he does still have a clean and intact race car, and should be able to recover and try to work his way back to the field. Well, I guess the second curb kind of threw the car off, and the third curb really sent Parker Bland around there through the bus stop.
Yeah, just the diffuser, it looks like, or at least underbody of the car, bottoming out over those curvings. We'll take one more look at it here. Now, of course, this is the brand new Watkins Glen. A year ago, this track did not look this way on iRacing. These curves were very different. He got loose there between the second and third apexes, and then just bottoms out on that third bit of curbing. It goes right around, but this is a fantastic looking track now. It looked nothing like this a year ago. It still looked like it did in about 2007 here on iRacing. iRacing's done a fantastic job of updating this track, getting the new scan out finally, and really making Watkins Glen look like the top tier road course that it should. As here's a battle between Schoonover and Austin Shoemaker, and Shoemaker really loose there in the first apex here of the inner loop. Now putting pressure back on Bill. It's going to be a tough day.
Yeah, it is. But he has to be aggressive.
Oh, boy.
Here. Oh, no. Richard Swavely around final corner.
Swavely sideways, and that car is done. You can see the right front, left front, both destroyed, it looks like.
Oh, man.
The left front bad. The good news is he's not going to have to take a tow. This happened right at the entrance of pit lane. We have a caution.
Caution.
Wow. That's a new one. I did not think we'd be saying that word this evening. At least not from aside from the stage breaks.
Not as a surprise.
That is interesting. Did not expect that. Here's Richard Swavely's incident. Just loose on his own. Brought the car right around on entry. Oh, and he gets hit hard by Chris Shoemaker, and that's a big problem for Chris.
Yeah, that's suspension damage. Oh, no.
It looks like it fixes itself a little bit, and all four tires are at least steering relatively the same direction. They're at least hooked up. The bumper is off, though. It's just kind of hanging on.
I can only imagine that because he was sitting crossways across the track, that race control saw that as a hazard to traffic that's coming up, and it's a blind corner exit. That
he got well out of the way before the caution was thrown.
Sure.
I did see the 88 was slow, or at least it said he was losing a position, but it looks like he kept going, no issue. These are the only two cars that I can find that were in distress on this lap. Very interesting that we got a caution for a 2-car incident. I did not expect that at all. But if that's kind of the vibe, if you will, of the evening, this is going to change this race entirely. Usually, on iRacing, when you sign up for a road course race, you are expecting just about caution-free. And of course, we have preset stage distances, but you don't expect cautions in road course races on iRacing. That this is very different for these guys to have to contend with, and it's going to change the whole strategy this evening a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And not that there should be any problems, but there has been issues before. And the reason why a lot of leagues will shy away from cautions on road courses is sometimes there's issues with counting laps, or not counting laps, but counting pace laps, and pit lane glitches out for people, and people get caught out at different places. It sometimes becomes a hassle. At least just kind of shy away from it. Now that the MPI Cup Series does it for the stage breaks, every road course is a different thing. But I can't recall that we've had a caution for incident on a road course this season, even with incidents.
I will say, I wonder for Austin Shoemaker, and maybe some other drivers in similar positions, if maybe the play here is to pit now, get tires this one time, and not get tires again. And that might sound like a completely bizarre idea. With a 50-lap race ahead, it's still 40-some laps to go, and these guys, I think, are only coming in if they come in for fuel. And you can see, faking each other out. Dingham and Chunk going to be the first one to pit. Joe Sanchez will follow. A lot of cars opting to stay out. That's going to be a theme. I don't think we're seeing many tires taken. Only 4, well, there are 4 sets these guys can throw on, in addition to the set they started on. But Emerson, as we've talked about, this is a very hard compound, and while, yes, we're at higher speeds here at Watkins Glen, I don't think many are going to be needed this evening. I think if you get tires now, you'll have slightly better tires at the end of the race. Not have to pit again, keep that track position from this point on. I really think that's a viable opportunity, a viable strategy here.
Yes, certainly. If tire wear does start to become an issue, that definitely could be the case. Michel could be playing ahead for that. And there's Joe Sanchez down and away. We got the one to go at the start finish line, so they're already doubled up. And I'd imagine, I think
remember that tends to be a faux one to go though.
It was race control shortened the caution period. One to go.
That'll change things. Yeah, just intricacies with the way iRacing does things at road courses for cautions. It's not a usual procedure, but you can see the field doubled up, pacing down the back stretch. Lap 9 of 50. The weather not changing much. The track, I think, is taking a little bit of extra temperature. And we have an organic caution, not something we usually ever have on a road course. This is different. This is definitely going to throw a wrench in a lot of plans. If I were JP, I'd be saying it was throwing a spanner in the mix, because this is going to be a little different.
Certainly, and Andrew, this shapes up a little bit, especially if there's battles throughout the midfield. The battle for stage points, especially if there's any drivers right around, like Kip Easley, that's above or around that cut line. This could be huge. A chance for him to gain stage points. Oh yeah, right here.
Kevin Hurley, Kip Easley, Jesse Whittington, Dakota Curtis, Justin Winters, Ryan Kendall, suddenly all in the hot seat to make positions or hold on to their positions. This is going to be interesting. And to remind those of you wondering about coverage after this evening at Watkins Glen, Podium Esports picks back up after this evening and will resume coverage with this series at Daytona next week. Mario Miranda down through turn 11. Should be into the Geico restart zone this time. Well, at least what would be the Geico restart zone. And yes, the green flag is waiting on car 99. Green flag is out. We're racing once again at the Glen. Lawson Peel, a big dive down for turn 1, trying to go for position 1, but backs up. It is now side by side with Steven Stempian, and now falls back side by side with Austin Reedy. A big move, but it backfired quick.
And he said something about pushing it deep into turn 1. We got a spinner there all in turn 2. I believe Daniel Holdcroft went around.
I believe you're right. Holdcroft with an issue, and he has taken it to the pit lane quickly. Joe Sanchez with problems up the S's. That car is destroyed. A big-time contender today, I think, was just taken out in car 55. It might have taken him a little while to get up there, and another caution will fly, but he definitely would have been one to contend with. And this might be the beginning of a theme, Emerson.
Yeah, caution's going to come out. I'd imagine that race control is now throwing them for 2-car incidents, is what I'd have to guess. If this is, again, another intentional caution. Joe Sanchez is already disconnected. Holdcroft went around, and that was big.
Here's Holdcroft's incident. You can see he bumps into Ross Harlow. I'd imagine Sanchez, is involved in part of it. Oh, and that's, I have to be honest, a bit irresponsible of Daniel to allow the car to roll backwards and into traffic like that. You have got to hold the brake when you spin off of your own mistake into the S's like this. I mean, this is very, very irresponsible to 31. Takes out Garrett Brown as well.
Yeah, Garrett Brown. Yeah, Garrett Brown was is a driver above the cut line only by a few points, and he had a not so great qualifying position. I was wanting to see if he was going to be able to make up some positions here, help himself out in the point standings, and gets caught up in an incident.
Here's the view for Garrett Brown racing with Charles Phelps, Daniel Michel, Joe Sanchez, who had literally just pitted. And that car just comes backwards. And when you're in that position of Garrett Brown, Joe Sanchez, those guys, there is literally nothing you can do. When that car does not hold the brake and comes across the racetrack like that, you have no option because you've already committed to trying to go by them in some way. I mean, that is going to be really, really painful for those drivers to accept that just got damaged from that, especially Joe Sanchez, who is likely now, well, he's already disconnected. He's out of the race.
That's huge. That you can't combat a car coming back across the track. As a driver, they just pick their lane, and that's what they had to stick with as the car was coming back across. I can't think. I'm trying to think of some reason that Holdcroft wouldn't try to lock it down anymore.
Emotions. It's always what it is. I've
Right.
been there, actually. It's always emotions. And I've been there. I get it. But when you have more cars coming up there, you've just got to be a little more heads up. And, I'm sure at most drivers will maybe have a conversation with him. More than likely, that's let go. And those drivers just remember that. And maybe we'll race him a little more aggressively the rest of the season. But at the same time, as here we go, some takers in the pit lane. Steven Stepien and Lawson Peel. But at the same time, Emerson, Daniel Holdcroft, he's on a partial schedule. He's not in the standings up front. It's not like Joe Sanchez is going to do anything back to Daniel Holdcroft. That's going to be let go, I'm sure. Just going to be very, very annoyed for the rest of the night. As we have takers. I'm surprised by this.
Yeah, so this is happening. Either the stage was called, right, and they just picked up the stage once they're pitting, or they are, playing the stage. If we're going to get a restart before the stage ends, they're going to, make their pit stop, and the race control shorten the pace left. So this is the 1 to green. So I'd imagine we're getting a restart before the end of stage 1. So they're going to be good. They're going to jump the stage or flip the stage.
And this is what I was thinking about, Emerson. Not only for fuel, but maybe just get your one set of tires now and hang on to those tires. Because I don't know if those tires are going to be beneficial after this. And for these guys that have wins that are more than locked in, I definitely think you pit right here, give up stage points, because we're going to have a 2-lap run for the stage. Come in now, get your tires, get your fuel, stay in the back. Now, Joe Sanchez was trying to do that and stay in the back and not be involved in a caution, but he was the caution, unfortunately, with Daniel Holdcroft. So maybe those guys would sit a little further back and just keep themselves in this race in some way, just get to the end of the stage. It's not going to matter for them. But this is really going to open the door. I mean, Jesse Whittington, Dakota Curtis now going to restart inside of the top 10. Those are valuable points, really, for car 23, who is now a Chevrolet, by the way, with a new sponsor on board. So how about that? Welcome Kroger to the MPI Cup Series and Dakota Curtis. But it's moving these guys into a really interesting position. Kip Beasley is snugly inside of the top 10 right now at 8th. Justin Erb up here. Really interesting spot for a lot of these guys.
Absolutely. Garrett Brown is going to continue with this race. He's trying to catch up to the field now, but he's left the pit lane and he's going to continue racing. But this restart, 2 laps before the conclusion of stage 1. And again, I'd be looking right around, that 10th place mark, see who's in and who's out after 2 laps here. But this could be intriguing.
Down to the 11th turn goes the entire field here for the MPI Cup Series. Green flag is waiting on them in the hand of the starter. Pace car comes in. Lap 13 will begin with another green flag. We're off and away back to turn number 1. One car way off. That is Zach Wilson in the background. Another issue off of a restart.
It has not been Zach Wilson's day, but here we have, I believe this is Muscarella working on Warren Kyle Keefe for the inverse. Actually, Keefe pulls up into 4th.
They'll go down to the bus stop side by side. Warren Keefe takes 4th away from Alex Muscarella. Kevin Hurley in behind, and your top 3 start to walk away. I'm mostly impressed with this guy, Emerson. Curtis Kelly in the 3rd spot, hanging with Austin Reedy so far. They're only out of the carousel, I know, but he is hanging with these guys. It's going to be a lot of points for the number 29 car.
And he only needs to hold on for another lap and a quarter, and they'd be 3rd place in this stage, but he might be going for more here.
James Kunkel is in 10th, the final car in the stage points. Dakota Curtis had a big issue on that restart, has fallen back as Justin Hendry goes off track, comes back on right behind Progar, who is 14th spot now, by the way. Dakota Curtis trying to pass Hendry. 1 lap to go in stage number 1. Mario Miranda leads. Here's your top 3 as Austin Reedy starts to fall back a little bit, possibly into the clutches of his teammate.
Yeah, this is going to be fun here. If Curtis Kelly has any lunge here on Austin Reedy down the back straightaway, he's setting up nicely. Not going to be able to dive bomb here into the bus stop, but could set himself up nicely for 6th.
On board here with Curtis Kelly through the bus stop. Nailing these apex curbs. I'm not sure we're going to see a switch for position, but a valiant effort here by Curtis Kelly. A really good restart for him, staying in the 3rd spot. Not much happening down around the 10th spot. Although Justin Winters is slowly closing in, you can see car 88 on the back end of car 3. Justin might have something actually for turn 6.
Final effort here into 6. Looking back at Reedy and Kelly, nothing changes there. Reedy holds on to 2nd.
Here's James Kunkel and Justin Winters for the final spot of the top 10. Winters a little wide at the apex, tries to do something here. A drag race to the line. I don't think he's going to have him as they're 3 wide further back, and no. James Kunkel will hang on to 10th, and the caution will fly promptly thereafter. Mario Miranda wins stage number 1 here at Watkins Glen. Can't say anybody's surprised by that one.
Absolutely not. And well-deserved stage again. He's been, far and ahead. Well, he led every lap in the stage, but he's also just been commanding the race thus far. It'll be now, what does he want to do strategy-wise? Is he going to pit here? Is he just going to continue to stay out? And what does his competitors do?
I think this is very interesting and very deserving for Mario, considering he had to go through 2 restarts to hang on to the stage. Usually it's just the restart at the beginning of the stage for these guys, and that's it. But a more realistic approach this evening, bringing in a few extra cautions, not for single car incidents, unless it's big, it seems like, very much in line with NASCAR procedure on a road course. And it's different, it's unexpected, and it's going to take some getting used to, but I like it overall. It is much more realistic, and I appreciate that race control is on it this evening with these caution flags, as Miranda will wrap up this stage win. It's Miranda, Reedy, Kelly, your top 3, then Warren Kyle Keith and Alex Muscarella, your top 5, Kevin Hurley, Justin Erb, Jesse Whittington, Kip Easley, and James Kunkel, the rest of your top 10. As these guys work into turn number 1, the pace car I just heard lighting up the rear tires and getting onto the racetrack. We will go side by side while these guys run this long pace lap here at Watkins Glen and get to the pit lane. We'll be right back for pit stops.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
The leaders are into the pit lane, or at least some of them, as Miranda leads the charge. There aren't many going with him, but car 99 does come down to the pit lane, brings in Jesse Whittington and some others. Very much interesting strategy happening here at Watkins Glen this evening as car 99 brings it down to the end of pit lane. You see others in behind. We've got the 94 of Jesse Whittington, Chris Shoemaker, it looks like, or no, Austin Shoemaker is in, Zach Wilson, Isaac Mock, and several others.
This is going to be intriguing. Miranda's down in 24th. He's going to battle through some traffic, try to avoid any chaos here in the midfield. And
that looks like fuel only to me.
Right, it was fuel only. I don't know what his likelihood of winning stage 2 is, and I don't know how he's going to flip the strategy to put himself back up front for the race, but I guess we'll find out.
Let's go ahead and talk to driver 99 this evening. Just wrapped up a stage win. We say that a whole lot, but Mario, congratulations on stage 1, winning it this evening. A couple of cautions there, not something you guys are used to. How did you play those, and how do you expect to play those the rest of the race?
Yeah, you gotta take those affect you a lot bigger than I thought they would. I feel like we didn't have those cautions. A lot of people would have come down pit road right there, but now we can make it to lap 30. I'm not worried by it, but I have 27 cars in front of me now, and I kind of don't want to put myself in the situation again and put another caution comes out.
So how do you play this? Obviously, it's going to be tough to just straight up fight these guys and get back towards the front. And do you have to pit again before the end of the race? I mean, I'm sure you don't want to give away too many secrets, but we've got a lot of questions and only so many guys that can answer them.
Yeah, I just got to keep the car clean, try to stay out of any incidents being back here. This didn't play in Peel's and Stimpion's hands either, the guys I'm fighting for a championship with, because I don't think they're in the top 10 even after everyone stayed out. So
17th and 18th.
Yeah, so us three, I think right now we're in a point to where we thought we might be fighting for stage 2, but now we're going to be fighting to just keep the car clean and try to put ourselves in the best spot for the last stage.
How do you balance that? I mean, you could just sit back and, as you say, keep the car clean and not fight anybody, but obviously you have to position yourself for stage 3 and the end of the race. How do you balance those kind of efforts, and what is that like?
For me, everyone knows I tend to lean more aggressive, and track position is really important here. It might be easy to pass people right now back here. Just because everyone's so bumbled up, and you can take advantage of the checkups into the brake zones and stuff. But as you get further and further up the field, it gets a lot harder to pass, and that track position is so much important. I noticed that in practice sessions. I noticed that in the first stage where Stimpian seemed like he was the faster car, especially on the short run. But he just, that dirty air kind of just keeps him stuck behind me.
How about tires? We see you didn't take any. Other drivers have. What's the game plan there? Do you expect to take another set of tires at some point, or is it just this set of tires for 50 laps?
I think it's the same strategy I played at Road America, and it's the same strategy I would have done at Sonoma if I raced that race. Run the same set throughout the whole race. There's no tire degradation, and honestly, at Road America, my fastest lap was lap 21 on 20 lap 1 oil tires. So I noticed in practice sessions was the same thing here. So saw the Coke drivers doing it, and when I was doing A open races, a lot of set builders were giving me advice on things to do. So yeah, I think I'm staying with these tires for the whole race.
There you go, Mario Miranda sticking with this set for the entire 50 lap race here at Watkins Glen. Mario, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Let's see what he can do on this restart, Emerson. 24th spot. Not quite the 27 cars ahead of him that he said, but still 20-some, which is going to be quite a lot. One car in the top 15 has made the trip down pit lane tonight. That is Daniel Michel in 13th spot. Everybody else through 16th, 17th position, actually 16th position, has not pitted yet. They're on the same set of tires, same load of fuel, and are just trying to get to the end of stage number 2. Now, they only have 11 laps to get there. Let's see what they can do on this restart. Austin Reedy, Curtis Kelly, your front row. Warren, Kyle Keith, Alex Smith-Skrella behind. Green flag is on the way here at Watkins Glen. We are back racing. Green flag in stage 2. One car spinning. I think that's Progar. Yes, it is. And he has taken a trip out to the outside wall. A good bit of damage there for the 17. Richard Swavely slow as well. Back up to the front of the field, though.
Yeah, I saw a couple cars dropping down the running order.
Had a
in
pass for
red.
the lead.
Yeah, Curtis Kelly, yeah. So Austin Reedy took a very shallow line through one. He didn't even extend out to the curb. And Curtis Kelly did, and he was able to take advantage of that. But side by side to the carousel now. Kelly on the inside, Reedy on the outside.
Yeah, Kelly had a mistake there in the bus stop. Gave him a lot of time. Reedy came back. Now here comes the 8 car. Warren Kyle Keith with a big-time throwback on his livery to the outside of the 96. Contact maybe into turn 6. Side by side, and Kelly's off. A lead change again. Here comes the 8. He's got to sit into second place as Austin Reedy takes over once again at Watkins Glen. Curtis Kelly is having all kinds of issues. Is back into 4th spot after having to lead out of turn number 1. Now into the clutches of Justin Winters. Sorry, Justin Erb.
That's such an easy braking zone to miss. It's one of the smaller braking zones on the track. You try to push as much as you can, and Curtis Kelly just got a little too much. I thought Warren Kyle Keith was going to take the lead there, but he had to check up for the sliding 29. And now looking at Justin Erb as he's now up into that 5th position, trying to see if he can take advantage of the still hot tires on the 29.
And there are multiple drivers coming hot off a Le Mans 24 win today, including Justin Erb and others. Gonna find the list here. Warren Kyle Keith was on that team. Let's see. Justin said it to me earlier. So Warren Keith, Ross Harlow, Alex Muscarella, and Justin Erb all ran the 24 hours of Le Mans that began yesterday and wrapped up this morning. And you can see it's paying off. Warren is second. Oh, and Kevin Hurley's crashing.
Crossways there.
This is sure to bring out a yellow.
Absolutely one of the more dangerous spots on the racetrack to have a car.
Stay green. Here comes Wilson. Wow. No yellow flag. James Kunkel is off the pace. I think he was the other car involved. Trying to get a hold of the 3 car now as there he is.
I'd imagine either they're 2 separate incidents or race control didn't see it, but that was big.
Kunkel had his own spin. Let's see what happened here to the 42 car. It was out of the carousel for Hurley, with Ross Harlow challenging from behind. There goes Hurley, just gets loose off the transition off the curving there. That's 2 cars technically involved in a really dangerous, precarious position to be in. Thankfully, everybody goes on by, no issue there. But then James Kunkel has a problem, and this is in turn 6, goes around, gets tapped around by Justin Winters. So 2 separate, technically 2-car incidents. You could call them single car if you wanted. Very interesting.
Right, so with Hurley, that's kind of that's a risk you take by taking that track extend out there off the carousel. It doesn't usually happen, but obviously it's possible that the rear of the car just kind of drops there. Car bottoms out like it would if it was a very loose setup like on a super speedway or something. And he just went around there, was contacted by another car. And then as far as Kunkel, I'm thinking this is more the track tend to getting the driver, because I didn't feel the rear end be very light or very loose in officials this week. With the next gen car anyway. I'm thinking this has to be the track temp, the slick conditions on the track, not a favored condition for the drivers.
Back to the point of those Le Mans 24 winners in the race today, at least from the iRacing Le Mans 24 in GTE for whatever split they were in. Well, one of them is 2nd, one of them is 3rd, one of them is 5th, and the other is 8th. As one car goes off, and that was Muscarella. Speak of the devil, as far as one of the drivers that won that race, and Muscarella does drop down to the 4th spot.
Be a little tired after 24.
I certainly can't blame him. But you know what? We've been there, Emerson. We've run those endurance races and then still come back and run whatever else. It is tough. As here we go. Mario Miranda, Lawson Peel, 6th and 7th now. They have fought through the field effortlessly, it seems. Steven Stepien is still down at 14th. He's having a little more trouble, but these 2 guys are on top of it.
This looks like an Allmendinger or a Hendrick car flying through the field today, just flying through the field.
Yeah, Chase Elliott, AJ Allmendinger, Kyle Larson, that kind of thing.
Yeah, nothing stopping. They are flying.
Or Ty Gibbs back at Portland.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs at Portland. Oh man.
On board here with Lawson Peel as he works up the S's. Justin Erb ahead of these guys. Even for Justin, it's going to be tough to hold these guys off, as here we are on board with the 24 car. Defending a little bit down to the bus stop. Certainly would like to hold off Mario if he can, but now will give up that position into the bus stop as here comes Lawson Peel. So he gives up one spot. Now he's going to hold up a Chevrolet and Lawson Peel. Oh, and Lawson almost got down to the inside there for the carousel.
Lawson wanted to, but I think also Erb, he saw Erb kind of be patient, let Mario go by. I think Lawson, well, he's not letting Lawson go by easily. Maybe here into the braking zone. No, he holds station there.
Here we go on board with Justin as, here we go, Lawson finally gets to the inside and will make that pass on Justin Erb. That is good for 6th position as Miranda starts to close in on Alex Muscarella.
When does the stage end again? They said they were going to be fighting for a stage. Well, Mario said they might not be fighting for a stage win, but they just might.
These guys are racing to the beginning of lap 30, the completion of lap 29, as Steven Sempion works here on Dakota Curtis. This is for the 12th spot rather. Dakota needs some points for sure. I mean, he's in the playoffs right now, but wants to give himself a better seed, earn a few more playoff points from his seeding going in. As it looks like Cody Kinsey has just had an issue, dropping down the order.
Yeah, I was going to mention that when I saw him drop down the order as well. Yeah, Dakota Curtis. Stempion is the one driver, a part of that trio that we saw pit, and they were all kind of mired back in midfield. That has not made his way to the field. I don't know if Stempion's just being very cautious, working his way to the field, or Miranda and Peel just got super lucky with one working their way up to the field. But Stempion is just trying to work his way to 12th right now.
This is a good battle, actually, between these two. See Stempion a little more aggressive into 6. Fires down to the gears a little quicker. Second gear now for turn 7. Justin Winters ahead of these guys, kept easily 10th, the final car, vying for stage points at the moment. Stempion is all over Dakota, but no move into the first corner here. I think Steven knows the situation, right? He's 12th. He's got 4 wins of the season. All he's going for really is the end of this race. Stage points would be nice and all, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make the difference of him winning the championship or not. He's just got to give himself to the end of this race in one position, in one piece. Look at this battle. Austin Shoemaker, Isaac Mock, contact there. They both slide through turn 2. Now they fall back a little bit. Here's Zach Wilson, Travis Stevens. Stevens a guy that could use a win or at least a lot of points.
Yeah, absolutely. And that bit of contact there, I'm sure that's not going to sit too well, knowing that all that's going on right around him, even this far after a restart. But right, 20th position. I don't know what the play is going to be here. So he hasn't pitted yet, so that's I guess a good thing if he's dropped this hard down the running order.
Could just be trying to save these tires.
He could. I don't know what the play is here because he's just dropped down to 20th, and he still has to pit here, probably at the end of the stage.
I will say it's cool to see more companies activating within the sim racing space, this time being Montana Max Barbecue, I believe it is, on the hood of the 2 car. Of course, Rockwell Security has been a longtime partner of Travis Stevens, but seeing Montana Max Barbecue get on board with these guys and really activate, I've seen them a ton on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, getting out here, activating within the sim racing space with Travis Stevens, and that is really, really cool to see every time it happens. I always appreciate when a new company gets involved, and again, to see Montana Max Barbecue, they are on Twitter, they are on social media, to see them getting out here and activating with Travis Stevens is very, very cool. And there have been several others. I mean, you can look at the 23 car. Talked about it earlier, Kroger on board the 23 now. This is very cool. Shenandoah Shine comes to mind, as well as Roasted Gems Coffee. So many different partners come to mind of drivers and teams in this series that have done a fantastic job of activating here with the MPI Cup Series. There's been an interesting development here. Curtis Kelly was just within a tenth of a second of Ward Kyle Keith, and now has fallen back to the clutches of Mario Miranda as Justin Erb and Ross Harlow fight.
So also, Alex Muscarella has hit the pit lane. Curtis Kelly had a run on Keith and then went wide into turn 6. And now we're watching this. Herb nearly contacting the 5 there. Ross Harlow might have had to lift off the gas there. Might hurt his momentum up the hill.
Here's Musgrell in the pit lane. Parker Bland with him. A couple of drivers trying to play some strategy moves as Austin Reedy continues to lead here at Watkins Glen. We don't usually say that with Austin Reedy in the lead anymore. He won those first couple of races this season, Emerson, at Daytona and Auto Club, and hasn't won since. Has been a little bit part-time, a little bit aggressive, and a whole lot quiet. We'll see if maybe he turns things back up for the playoffs, but the Team Murder Designs 96 could really use a win today at Watkins Glen to get back up on the saddle, if you will. And so far, he's looking good. He's going to win Stage 2 if everything holds.
Yeah, certainly. And I think, over the course of the season, it's tough. It's a long season as well. And you'll see the roller coaster of momentum kind of shift amongst drivers quite a few times, even through the regular season. I wonder if Reedy maybe is just trying to play this stage win just to give himself some momentum, some confidence heading into the playoffs. This is really the last race you can really control your own destiny before the playoffs. Daytona, you're kind of at everyone else's hands.
He's got a lap and a half to go here in Stage 2, and the TJ's Team 96 works on through the bus stop. Parker Bland out ahead. I do wonder what the delta is to be able to pit safely from the lead lap and stay on the lead lap to play this stage. But we see Parker Bland pitted from well back of the field and stays on the lead lap, so clearly it's a pretty large one.
So if you're looking at the pit times, they're about 43, let's say 45 seconds to be safe. And you can be you're running about 111 lap times, then you're looking at 71 minus 45 is about 26 seconds.
There you go. Math of Emerson Arden as we take the white flag here on the stage. Curtis Kelly with a move here, as you can see, at a turn 1 on Warren Kyle Keith. This is aggressive, and it's for second place, and it has been made. Curtis Kelly grabbing a spot here and grinding away some of that underbody on the curbing. Now what can Warren do?
So yeah, Warren has been under attack from Curtis Kelly quite a bit since he got around Curtis Kelly. This has been quite the battle to keep tabs on. But now Curtis Kelly's finally gotten ahead. I wonder if Curtis Kelly's going to be ready to break for the bus stop without somebody in front of him. And then Miranda, he could play a little bit of a factor here before this stage is over. Oh, Warren Kyle Keith is there.
Kelly's kryptonite is definitely the bus stop. Every time we go through the bus stop, that car gets unsettled, and he has to back out of it into the carousel. And that, I think, is going to be the big shortcoming for Curtis today in these battles, and why I think he's 4.5 seconds behind Austin Reedy right now. And side by side with the 8 cars, somebody's off track. I think that's Parker Bland in turn 6, and it is. These guys will battle it out to the end of the stage. There's Parker. And, he's destroyed as, Warren comes over across the nose of Mario Miranda to hang on to that third spot. Now Barrel is into turn 1, and the final car grabbing stage points will be Justin Winters. And the caution will fly. Stage 1 complete. Austin Reedy, your stage winner. And Parker Bland in trouble.
Yeah, a lot went on there. I was keeping my eyes intently fixed, and Curtis Kelly just went straight to the bus.
This might not be good. This is really dangerous, bringing this car back to the pit lane like this.
Justin Winters might want to give him space.
And he is now.
Right.
Through the bus stop is at least going to help Justin a little bit, but Parker bringing this car back around to the pit lane. It's a bold move. I understand why he's doing it. It's just dangerous in case something happens and he loses control of this car. I will say, if he made it through the S's in the bus stop fine, he's probably okay, but he's going to have a tough time turning at turn 6.
Yeah, this left-hander is not going to be kind on that right front. And it was it way down, so he should be able to make the corner. He does.
So Parker will bring it into the pit lane. He's at least avoiding a tow, and oh man, that was all over the place on the brakes. He at least avoids a tow, so he'll save himself a couple of laps, but that was really tough for him. Let's bring it back and see the issue that he had a little bit ago. We're going to go even further back to this. So this is way back there now.
Kevin Hurley also disconnected from his earlier incident.
Cody Kinsey as well. It looks like Richard Swavely is 4 laps down. Chris Progar is out of the race. Austin Reedy goes to lap Parker Bland here. And oh, contact with the leader.
Oh,
Wow.
oh, that's a big one into the tire barrier. That gravel trap, you know, iRacers are thankful that it doesn't, you know, just go out and catch the car and get it stuck, but it also doesn't really slow the car down either.
This will be an onboard view. You can see Parker slip up in the bus stop, giving up more time in the carousel. This is going to be an interesting one to look at. As here goes Austin Reedy by on the left side, and Parker's there. Parker just drove deep and drove into Austin. That's unfortunate.
Look like Parker was being defensive all the way down that straightaway, and I think if I'm not mistaken, right, he was fighting to try to stand lead lap.
Yeah, but he just made a mistake out of the corner. That
Right.
he did stay defensive out of the carousel, but at the end of the day, he just made a mistake into turn 6 and unfortunately takes himself out. Here's Austin Reedy working through the pit lane, and Mario Miranda will stay out. I'm sure a lot of drivers will, but a lot of drivers will also pit. This is where they were trying to get to. We're past halfway and through stage 2 now, so this is kind of the logical place for them to pit.
I think they were hoping for a couple more cautions, but I do think Miranda and company who pitted at the stage should be good on fuel to the end. It'll be close, but they should be.
Daniel Michel comes back in. He's going to take tires. There's Steven Stempian.
That one I'm surprised to see back in.
It's fuel only for Steven.
Fuel only.
I wonder if anybody was starting to fight maybe a tight condition. And in the case of Steven, that could be why he's coming back in. Not really sure otherwise, but let's go ahead and dial up driver 96 for a quick interview and see what he's got to say about his strategy. Some of those questions could now find answers once we talk to him. Let's grab car 96. And Emerson, here is your stage 2 winner.
Driver of the number 96, stage 2 winner, currently now 12th after pit stops. Austin Reedy getting to lead some laps there, getting the stage 2 victory. What was the plan? Was it just to get a playoff point to help you stay in the playoffs? Was it to try to game a strategy somehow? What was the thought process?
I think with being in the lead there, I think that playoff point could come into play. So I wanted to take that. If I was maybe back in like 2nd or 3rd or 4th, probably would have came in earlier, tried something different. But I like getting them 10 bonus points and that one playoff point. It might need it. Never know when.
Certainly. So you got yourself 15 laps led. You're back in 12th. How do you see yourself working through this field now with about the race that coming 16 laps to go for some cautions? How are you going to work your way through the field? Some fast drivers ahead of you.
Yeah, we're going to have to take our time and minimize our mistakes. Hopefully we get a couple lucky breaks, maybe a couple mistakes from these faster guys, and we can work our way up there. We have like, 16 or 17 to go. We take this green, so I think we got enough time to see what we can do.
It's been a minute since you visited Victory Lane here in the MPI Cup Series. Was this move for the stage win potential motivational boost, confidence boost heading into the playoffs?
I think it's just for that extra point. There's so many times where even in real life NASCAR and then on the sim to where you might miss the next round by 1 or 2 points. So I like to get them when I can and take them small victories every once in a while.
Right, there you go. Stage 2 winner, Austin Reedy. Again, you'll be lining up 12th outside row number 6. Best select team driver, and hopefully we're talking to you on the far side.
All right, let's see, guys.
Actually, Austin, before you go, I'm actually kind of curious about tires here. It obviously looks like you took tires here. How bad are your tires? You don't have to give us numbers, but like, is it better or worse?
I actually didn't take tires there, but
Okay, so
yeah,
I'll play then to go all 50 laps.
Yeah, just take them all 50. They're really bad. I can talk a little bit. We got a little bit to pacing, but they're really bad for like 1 or 2 laps when you first put them on, especially if you're just riding around under caution. The only time I think I would take them is if people took them out like 26 or 27. but they're so slow. You're so loose for about a lap or two. It's just better just to stay on these old ones. And I mean, maybe if you give up a tenth or two a little bit later in the run, it's better than giving up 2 or 3 seconds in that first lap.
And I guess my other question actually is, you've been kind of part-time since winning those first couple of races in the season. Are you full-time now once the playoffs kick back in at Darlington? What's the story there?
Nah, we're all good. We just had some outside, some work things going on, but we're all good now. We're going to try to finish the season strong and finish it like we started.
There you go. Austin Reedy back full-time for the playoffs here. Austin, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you, man.
We'll get him back down there with his teammates at Fast Banana Racing, Curtis Kelly, James Kunkel, Ryan Kendall. Looks like no Wyatt Brackett this evening, which is rather interesting. Although, you know what? He could have been at the track today. I know several friends that were there, and gotta be honest, I'm pretty jealous of them being able to be there and not myself, as we come back to the restart here in just one moment. Lap 33 of 50. As we work a caution period. Mario Miranda now, your race leader, stays out under this caution. Will line up alongside his team owner, Jesse Whittington, with Austin Shoemaker in tow. Austin has pitted. Looks like he might be good on fuel. We'll see if these guys need fuel again at some point. Green flag is out, lap 33 of 50. We're back after it here at Watkins Glen. Oh, Shoemaker deep. Brandon Banks, big trouble.
That's going to be a big one. Oh, no.
No caution yet. Actually was not as big as it was going to look, as there we go. Isaac Mock spins. That could have been a lot worse.
I don't know how the field fared as well as it did. I was sure that comment on Austin Shoemaker being up here. But that was wild. We still got all this racing up the S's.
Down to the bus stop. Miranda leads. Whittington. And oh, Muscarella goes straight through at the bus stop. He will have to come to a stop and rejoin the field. Oh my goodness, Zach Wilson nearly clobbers him. There's the 4-car spinning with the 5.
Chris Shoemaker in trouble there off the bus
He challenged
stop.
to blow it way up.
It's potentially the final restart, Andrew. I think the intensity has definitely ramped up.
Oh, it has. Look at these guys through turn 6. 1 car off, that's Kunkel. Wow, they are all over the place. Danielson, Stevens sliding around as we complete that lap off the restart. 1 car stopped. It's Justin Winters in the 88, and there is a caution out for it. Oh, and the 43 it looks like as well. Yes, Sean Kalist.
Yeah, Reeves, Kalist, Winters. I'm sorry, not Reeves. Yeah, Kalist and Winters. My goodness.
88 car on the front stretch. We have a lot to go back and look at here. A lot.
I want to watch the whole lap.
Feels like the start of an NARL race, honestly. With everything that just went on at the start of this one. The restart of this one, that is. It starts off, I know, with the 7 and somebody else. Oh, Brandon Banks in the 54. Down into the first corner, side by side with Sean Kalist, who ends up being in this yellow. Big pushes here for the 54 and everybody else. And, oh, Schoonover just sends the 43 of Kalist. That sends him into Banks. That sends him into Mock. So, unfortunately, Sean Kalist is in the beginning and the end of this caution, as it really took 1 lap to develop. He made contact there with Steven Stempian down to the S's.
Yeah, he had to bully his way back onto the track just to get a re-entry back onto the track. But you're right, that's kind of the game that could be played in the issue that drivers are worried about entering turn 1. There's Muscarella just not trying to take someone out, misses the corner, misses the bus stop, comes to a stop.
Now here's the issue, or well, the issue in development, if you will, for the 88 and the 43. As you can see, Dustin Reeves very slow on the top side of the carousel, giving up a lot of time. Steven Stempian going to work on the 27 of Sean Kalist. Nobody wasting time on this restart. A lot of different paces mixed around with each other. As this is turn 6 now for the 43 and the 88. I guess it's going to start with Justin Winters and end with Sean Kalist as Kalist goes up the inside. Winters on the outside. And Winters just gets loose and breaks right into the nose of the 43 car. Oh!
That's unfortunate. Heavy suspension damage for the 43 of Kalist. My goodness. And we also saw drivers taking shallow lines, missing corners, just chaos on the restart.
And look at things for these guys as they come through turn 7 and have calamity ensue. Who was behind Kalis there? I think that was Reeves potentially in the 6 car. Austin Reedy was back there. Let's actually watch this from Reedy's perspective because there was a lot happening right in front of him as he was working here on Justin Hendry. He is now 9th, by the way.
Hey, he gained 3 spots to the restart.
Wow, that send. Gets into Warren Keith, drifts it himself, and oh, wow, he gets a piece of it after Warren gets scored there by the 43.
Found the one that caught the back of Kalis. And right after Reedy made all that progress, Andrew, I guess he was up to 7th at that point. He got passed by 2 cars.
Crazy, crazy stuff. Beginning stage number 3. That was a lot that just happened. Let's go ahead and talk to somebody who, well, we don't usually ever talk to, but he is currently 2nd behind one of his drivers that he partners with and sponsors here and helps field a car for in this MPI Cup Series. Jesse Whittington in 2nd spot right now. Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Well, I imagine you're doing a whole lot better than us right now. 2nd place at Watkins Glen, 15, now 14 to go. You got a teammate with you here. Granted, you got a lot of hungry dogs bearing down your neck. This has got to be a pretty good feeling.
I've had some tough luck in this league so far, and I mean, I know I've had some decent runs, you know, wheel disconnecting and things like that, but it definitely feels good at this point to be up here. I don't think I have much for some of these front runners, but if I can hold off for a top 10, I'll be happy.
Of course, you're not fighting for a championship this season, maybe next season, but really you're just one of those teammates for Burt Rubber Media and Burt Rubber Racing. How do you help these guys out? How do you help especially Mario Miranda and maybe Isaac Mock try to fight his way in here? How do you help these guys out? How are you of service as a teammate?
Just trying to be a good teammate. I mean, I'm not racing for too much except for wins if I'm able to come by them, but just try to not be in their way, try to not screw up races for them, and just try to make sure that their heads stay cool.
And on the inverse of that, obviously Mario, the driver we all watch for at these road courses, along with Lawson Peel, how big of a help is that for you to have? Obviously, he's got this stuff down pat. He's got to be a pretty big coach to have, especially with this new tire thing that we've got going on, a really hard compound on these Gen 7 cars. How do you work with all that?
Yeah, I mean, Mario, he helped me personally, just by kind of going over braking points and steering input and things like that. I mean, whenever I first hopped on here, I was 2 seconds of what I've ran most of this race. So he's a very good teammate whenever it comes to, you know, helping us out on road courses and just trying to get an understanding for him.
Well, Jesse, you're restarting 2nd here. Again, 13 laps to go when we drop this green flag. Best of luck to you. Hopefully we'll talking to you later.
Man, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good rest of the race.
Burnt Rubber Motorsports there for car 94 along with car 99. We'll see what they can do on this restart. Maybe some choreography up front. You never know. As they're going to try and keep this race in lock. I'm sure at least Mario Miranda will do his best out of turn 1. We'll see what Jesse can do on his outside as they exit turn number 7 and head down to the start-finish line to get this race back underway. The starter has the green flag in hand. We're back racing at the Glen, lap 38. Jesse Whittington, a lot of trouble out of turn 1. One car stopped. That is Brandon Banks. Somebody else fights up the S's.
You're up the S's. It's cleaned up front to Peel to P2, Curtis Kelly to 3rd, Austin Shoemaker dropping back, and Andrew, we're setting up.
Oh, 94! Whittington! Oh my goodness. Thankfully hangs on to it.
Trouble.
Steven Stempy in the 81 around. Gets back going. Gonna have a tough time rejoining. He is now outside of the top 30, 31st spot.
And the day we thought Stempy would have after qualifying 2nd, it has not gone his way. Shoemaker, he's holding on right now 4th, trying to fend off Austin Reedy. Reedy now has again that full tank of fuel, trying to get to the outside of Shoemaker, and Warren O'Keefe right behind as well.
New fast lap, a 1:10.990 for the 9.9 of Mario Miranda. Side by side, this is for 4th place. Austin Shoemaker, Austin Reedy, Warren Keith watching from behind.
And I'm wanting to see how hard is Austin Shoemaker going to fight this, right? He knows these are some aggressive guys he's racing. In Austin Reedy and Warren Keith. I don't know how he feels he measures up. Here comes a dive from Reedy into the bus stop, and Shoemaker lets him go on through. I was going to say, he's in a good spot here. How aggressive will he fight these positions?
Oh, Judd Danielson through the bus stop. A slide, hangs onto it. Oh, nearly takes out Garrett Brown, who gets a bump from behind. I think that was Daniel Michel who gave him a shot and got him a little bit loose after the fact. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. Cars are everywhere back here.
That is the chaos that Watkins Glen can bring the very fast, high-speed road course with, well, virtually no track limits in some places.
Whoa, where's Danielson going?
I think those tires are just hot, overheating the rear tires, and couldn't make the corner there in 6th either. Falls way back here. Fighting the 68 of Ryan Kendall for 22nd.
Moving up, here's James Kunkel, Alex Muscarella. 8th position in 9th. Kip easily in the top 10 as well, just behind these guys. Zach Wilson, everything we've seen for him so far today, all the spills, the mishaps, is in the 11th spot. Emerson with Ross Harlow just behind. Dustin Reeves 13th, Dakota Curtis 14th.
How in the world has Zach Wilson recovered to 11th? My
He's
goodness.
had a couple of really big spins. I'm not sure.
Honestly, I don't know how half the drivers who've had some trouble today have recovered
Ooh.
to this. Oh, contact between Michel and Reeves.
There's Jesse Whittington, who's fallen back now to the 16th spot. Michel goes off course, comes back on, battling with these guys. Into the braking zone. Here's a 25. Takes that spot away. That's 14th.
Oh, sideways over the curbing and onto the runoff. He'll hold station there in the 14th position, but not without picking up a 1X.
Working down the front stretch now. Let's check into some other battles. Isaac Mock, Travis Stevens, they're close. Only a couple of tenths apart. How about the side-by-side? Steven Stempian passing Bill Schoonover. This is for 25th. Schoonover slow into 1. There goes Winners. Brandon Banks as well, battling now with Charles Feltz, who goes out. Well, Banks goes way wide at turn 1. There goes Richard Swavely on by the 54 car. Rough day for Brandon Banks. He really can't afford this ever. So when you look at where he is in the standings, he's not necessarily in danger yet, but he might be after today. He's 61 points above. A lot of guys chasing have gotten some stage points today. It's going to be somewhere around the 40s for him, I think. He's going to be losing at least 12, maybe 15 to 20 points on the guys that are chasing him, especially if Austin Shoemaker can hang on to the top 5 run that he's got going on. Brandon Banks is in trouble.
Absolutely. The last thing you want to do is put yourself in a vulnerable position entering a super speedway that is going to have a car count rivaling 40 cars. You don't want to put yourself at least 40 cars. You don't want to put yourself in position where you could potentially end up in an accident early and be out of the playoffs. Just like that with 2 bad weeks. You need to recover as much as you can. Fight for every spot you can.
This is Justin Erb on Warren Keith. Justin Erb sporting some new colors this evening, as you can see the Whiplash Media sim cams. Chevrolet on track.
Hey, those guys sound cool.
A big shout out to all of our partners with the MPI Cup Series. Of course, Max Pappas Innovations, Auto Tempest, KListSynthetics.com, SimMax. And of course here at PitStop TV as well, Whiplash Media sim cams, SimWrapMarket.com, and Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine. Some battles further back. Ross Harlow side by side with James Kunkel. Zach Wilson in this conversation.
Zach Wilson's into the top 10. He might have some hidden road course pace that we don't know about, and it's just been hidden by the spins.
You know, we talk about short tracks and road courses being more and more similar now with this Gen 7 car and just with braking in general. What you've got to modulate things and use the brakes to your advantage as Harlow actually gets a position here on Wilson. It makes sense that maybe a short track case would be good on a road course in the sense of Zach Wilson. Good under braking. Car 51 has got something figured out this evening as James Kunkel has to deal with Kip Easley back up the inside. Easley takes that spot away. Here comes Michel now on Kunkel. 8 to go. Steven Stempian, Logan Sturgeon, 20th.
Yeah, Stempian, he is after he pitted, he has not been able to return to the top 10 for very long. He has been right around here in between 10th and 20th most of the day. Again, he's been as high as second, started second, but it's not been that way.
To be fair, though, he's up 11 spots from his mistake. From whatever happened to the bus stop, he is up 11 spots in this short run of a time. And I think a top 15 is easily within range for him, if not better.
If he gets a couple of restarts, he might be able to make his way back into the top 10.
Makes a pass there, now 19th. Kip Easley, Daniel Michel. Michel goes on by for 11th. Easley now going to keep battling with Kunkel. Warren Keith, Austin Shoemaker. This is 5th, 6th, 7th with Justin Erb as well. Garrett Brown getting passed up by Steven Stempian. Brown, I thought, was going to pit for a second. There goes Isaac Mock by him. Justin Hendry, by the way, out of this race now. Richard Swavely with him. Parker Bland is still in, albeit 5 laps down. Chris Progar is back on track, 9 laps down. Sean Kalist is 35th and out of the race. Kevin Hurley, Cody Kinsey, Joe Sanchez, and Holdcroft out as well.
Yeah, Garrett Brown was one of those drivers. I believe he had an incident early. He's recovered nicely to put himself back inside the top 20. And I'm very impressed with how Shoemaker is holding along. I don't really know where his pace is going to be today because he qualified 15th. Then he missed the grid. And he had a struggle trying to work his way through the field. I didn't really know where to benchmark the 14, but right now looks like a good spot.
And I'd mentioned when he was running 37th that his pace was matching that of 37th. He wasn't gaining or really even losing anything. The guys ahead of him, he looked like he was going to run around there the rest of the day, but now he's in the top 5 and he's hanging on beautifully. I mean, this is a massive turnaround day for somebody that needs it. Emerson, again, we can bring up the standings and take a look at where he sits. 8 points above the cutoff line, the first driver in 16th. And this is absolutely going to move him ahead of his father, Chris Shoemaker. He's more than 5 spots ahead, 11 spots ahead of the 4-car. Obviously, stage points will play into that a little bit, maybe, but I don't think either of them really got many. I think Austin got a few in that last stage. Austin's going to be in great position, at least compared to where he is coming into today, as long as he keeps his run together. 6 laps to go. Garrett Brown's struggling, Chris Shoemaker struggling. Curtis Kelly's been fantastic. He's 3rd. Dakota Curtis sitting right around 13th, 14th, where he has most of this season. Not bad for Dakota, but Brandon Banks, 28th. That's rough.
Yeah, not the night he's wanted as well. Trying to work his way back into things, but again, you see here, Mock, Brown, this is right around that 20th position. There's still opportunity and still time for stuff to fall in drivers' favors.
Steven Stempian into the 17th position now. Here's a look at a bunch of guys further up. Dakota Curtis battling here with Richard Swavely. No, Jesse Whittington, rather. And Chris Shoemaker. Chris Shoemaker now in the 16th spot, actually still. And Stempian's closing in. 5 laps to go here at Watkins Glen.
Making great progress. Again, I don't think the finish for Stempian's going to reflect where he should be tonight, but still, he is on a mission. He is all over that exit curbing in 1.
We do have a battle for the race lead. Lawson Peel has reeled in Mario Miranda. We're talking about all these championship scenarios. Well, here is your championship scenario. These two are going to battle things out. I really look forward to seeing them battle at the Roval later in October. Here we go. Lawson, nowhere to go. He's going to move Mario Miranda in turn 7, side by side, a bump and run at Watkins Glen, and they're going to run down to the start-finish line. 4 laps to go this time by.
Little afraid of a little deja vu.
Wow! Mario gives it back. He's going to give it back again. Slides to the inside. And remember, Circuit of the Americas, where we picked up coverage of this MPI Cup Series. Lawson Peel moved Mario Miranda, albeit unintentional, in turn 12 to win that race. Now, Lawson moves Mario to get the lead here at Watkins Glen with 4 to go. This is going to get interesting.
Peel defensive.
Wow, there goes Mario.
This is the corner.
Miranda goes straight through. He's absolutely going to hold up Lawson. Maybe not. He doesn't hold up Lawson. I'm surprised. If I was Mario, I would be seething right now. Gets back to it. He might have bled off enough time here.
He might be playing this very nicely. He might have to give up a little bit more in these braking zones. So this might be the two corners where Pio's got to get away. Miranda might be on damage control right now, trying to slow down. That looks like not able to get to the throttle as quickly as he'd like to.
Trying to bleed it off in corner entries, in braking zones. But has he bled off too much? Is he too far behind now, Lawson Pio? Lawson's got, well, he pitted more recently, but I think they're on the same tires as we've talked with these guys about. It's going to be interesting.
Miranda might be back to full beans, giving it his all, trying to see if he can get back to Pio. And yeah, these two have been the talk of the town on the road courses. I'm so glad it's going to come back down to these two. After all we saw today, I wasn't sure if they were going to get back to this point.
Nose to tail, 2.5 laps to go. Mario's closing back in. This is going to be a battle. This is not over. Mario is seeing red right now.
I would be too. This is that's frustrating,
especially with that many laps to go from Lawson. I did not expect that. I mean, I get it if he's mad about the defense, but it's road course race, and you're going to have that defense. It wasn't like it was a move, a reactionary block from Mario. Mario picked his lane and stayed there. Lawson's got to find a way by. So if that's what it is, man, that's real interesting. 2 laps to go this time by. Mario Miranda is putting himself in position. There is going to be contact.
I believe so. 2 laps to go. That's less than 5 miles to settle it. Oh, Pio barely given enough room. Returning back to the zone. Corner exit.
So close between these two. Still so close.
Up the hill.
Just over a lap to go. There's also a battle with Austin Shoemaker and Warren Keith. We'll quickly take a look at this. This is for 5th. And we've got to change. Mario into the braking zone for the bus stop. Lawson gives it back. Are you what?
Wonder if there is maybe a part of guilt. I can't imagine, but he's giving up a lot of time here. Maybe Miranda just drove it that far deep.
Did Lawson go too far out in one potentially?
Oh, you can't pick up a second slowdown down there.
This is a look at it. They're still a half second apart live, and they'll come back to the white flag here in a moment. Watch Lawson Pio. In turn 1, does he maybe take too much track here on the exit and not give it back?
That's a lot.
He might have.
That's a lot. iRacing's going to give you the edge of your 4 tires there on the right side of the exit curbing. Not much more than that. And if you go way out there, you got a 1.1 second slowdown. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, he slows down to give that up. We are now onto the final lap. The white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. And what a tumultuous 5 laps we've had to close this one out here at Watkins Glen in our coverage here of the MPI Cup Series. We saw a bump and run, a move we thought would go for the win from Lawson Pio on Mario Miranda. Then we saw Mario try to give it back into turn 1. We saw Mario run him back down, and then maybe it looks like a mistake hot under the collar for Lawson Pio, going too wide in turn 1 and taking too much track, getting himself a penalty. Now what this does is open the door once more for Mario Miranda to put himself back in the top seed, the number 1 seed for these MPI Cup Series playoffs. It's the final 2 corners of our coverage of the MPI Cup Series, and it's going to be led by Mario Miranda. All he's got to do now is win Daytona next week, because he is exiting turn 7, a Watkins Glen winner in the 2022 MPI Cup Series. Miranda wins at Watkins Glen.
The road course saga continues, and I think this is just one of the chapters coming to an end, not the entire story, because what a battle it was to finale the final 5-6 laps here at Watkins Glen. And Miranda bests Pio on Varodi this time round at Watkins Glen, and a well-deserved and very fun race.
There's Mario headed down the backstretch. Let the rest of the field come on by the start-finish line. Good look at it here. Wow.
You know what, Andrew? There was contact, right? There was a bit of contact, but that's fine in stock cars. Neither one of them junked each other for that win. That was about as hard of race you can get and not junking each other. That was awesome.
That was incredible. That was a fantastic way to close things out. I just wish Lawson hadn't made that mistake in turn 1. I wish we could have seen that battle come to fruition.
Absolutely. That one, I honestly question why that's a 1 second slowdown that far out there. But it is what it is. All the drivers had to play with that rule. He just got a little too wide, and Miranda rightfully celebrates at the front straightaway.
Yes, very much rightfully celebrates here on the front stretch at Watkins Glen. A lot of laps led for him this evening. 32 of 50. That is a large number at a place like this.
Not quite the percentage he had last week of leading all but 8, but very dominant. And all that he got, put back in like 24th. It's crazy.
Yeah, what a day here at Watkins Glen. Definitely not what we expected, I think, at any point in time. A really, really intense way to finish our portion here with the MPI Cup Series, and just really good racing. I'm impressed by these two. I'm impressed. Obviously, they wanted to move each other, and, well, they did, but they kept things together. They did not crash. Incredible. And we've just been told the race finish is under review.
Oh, I was going to say, this looks a little more muted for Miranda. He did not come and finish it. There's a little bit of a stare down happening on the front stretch as well. And Sturgeon comes up.
Sturgeon now teammates with Mario. That's what this is. But you're right. Lawson is here. Wow.
Does he feel...
This might not be over.
Miranda is moving again.
Well,
I guess did they feel Lawson was forced that wide?
So I wonder if this comes down to a league procedure potentially of the bus stop. Of course, in NASCAR, the procedure is that you have to stop if you miss the bus stop, or if you miss a chicane, you have to come to a stop. You know what? Let's see if we can line it up and go back and watch that. This is going to be important, actually. I mean, this is going to be very, very important as far as the season goes. Let's go back. Just watch this battle. Mario has now left his car in the sim. I mean, this would come down to something that is discussed in the drivers' meeting for these drivers, something they're informed of pre-race. We have to see this again, and this isn't the right lap, I don't think. Must be difficult to find. This is actually after the contact, I suppose. After the initial contact. So where do they go side by side to the bus stop? I think I've maybe found it. This is... I'm not sure what lap this is, actually. But anyways, we're going to watch, and we're going to find out here pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm just doing a quick skim. I haven't.
This is after Lawson gives up that spot.
Right. The race. No, it was. I think it was a lap before that. Then.
Let's go ahead and narrow this down. We're going to do a little secret here of going to B-roll and try and figure this one out. This is a very interesting situation. That was lap 49. Let's go back. Was it on lap 47, maybe? Yes, it was lap 47. I've just found it. Go ahead and watch this. Just 1 second. And we'll rejoin these guys headed down the backstretch at a turn number 4. Watch this setup. So Lawson defends. Mario trying to pass. Unfortunately, there's trees in the way, so... Well, I'll have to watch it from a different view, apparently.
I can't find anything right now in the Season 5 rulebook that says anything about coming to a complete stop. So you're right, it would have to be something that was stated in the drivers' meeting to all drivers before the race, if that is what the race control is going to rule.
This is the incident right here. Mario went to turn in, and I guess the argument is that he missed it on his own mistake, his own volition. He gave up enough time to be legal by iRacing, but it's a matter of whether or not the league, just like NASCAR, wants you to stop in that chicane.
Right, and his argument could be, he was contacted by Peel, I guess. Well, we'll have to see how this is ruled, but intriguing. Hard racing, though, nonetheless.
Let's watch this one more time, and we'll go ahead and go through your unofficial race results as we await a call. And it sounds like we're going to hear this directly from race control. Potentially. This is the incident from Mario's perspective. That is a very tough one to call. Well, let's go ahead and with the unknowingness, I guess, of not really knowing exactly what's going to go on here, let's, I suppose, Emerson, walk through our race results quickly, then we'll go up to race control under a commercial break and figure out what's going on. So here we go. Mario Miranda, for now, has the win. Lawson Peel second. Regardless, we know the rest of the order, at least what it should be. Austin Reedy third, Curtis Kelly fourth, Austin Shoemaker, Justin Erb, Warren Kyle Keith, Alex Biscarella, Ross Harlow, Daniel Michel, your top 10. We'll quickly go through the rest here. Zach Wilson, Steven Stempian, just some highlights, I guess, and we'll go back through this again at some point, but I don't want to hold up race control too long. So you can see Dakota Curtis in the 16th spot, Chris Shoemaker 15th, down through the top 20 of Judd Danielson, Ryan Kendall, Travis Stevens, Brandon Banks, Dustin Reeves here, 21st through 24th. Jesse Whittington, the first car out of the race, 4 laps down at 30th spot. And then down through the rest of the top 39 cars that showed up tonight, Joe Sanchez finishes dead last of the bunch. So we will go to a quick commercial break and await word from race control here, it sounds like, on what is going on with the finish of this race. Just when they thought they'd gotten rid of us, it all changed, Emerson. We'll be right back. Welcome back here to the virtual Watkins, Glen International and PitStop TV. I have just received word. I just went to race control and spoke with them directly, and Mario Miranda is not winning this race. Lawson Peel is the winner. And we'll go back and show you why it is. Well, we already showed you why, but it is because of the bus stop chicane there on lap 47 of 50. Lawson, well, it is deemed by race control, and we were informed that they went through this in the drivers' meeting today. Yes, you have to stop at the bus stop if you do miss it. You have to stop and give that time back. It's a NASCAR procedure that's been introduced in recent years. I want to say around... I mean, it's been around for a while, actually. It's not even that recent. I mean, it's been around, at Watkins Glen especially, well, particularly, for a while now, where if you miss that bus stop chicane, I recall Tony Stewart, I think, doing it years ago. Here's the initial contact with Lawson Peel. This is lap 46, coming to lap 47, and we'll just allow this to play through. But it is very much the chicane, Emerson. Race control deemed that he went through the chicane, and I think because there's no contact in this incident, Mario was deemed to have needed to serve that penalty of stopping in the chicane, did not do that, battled with Lawson, and therefore loses the race.
An intriguing call for sure, but at the end of the day, both drivers are mired, like, they have many wins. This is not going to, I think, affect either one of them too greatly. I know it'll be disappointing for Mario, but hard racing. Unfortunately, it had to be decided in the race control room and on the track. But yeah, he got the bus stop.
I mean, it's very much cut and dry, unfortunately. It really sucks to see this battle come down to all of this. And, you know, we thought Lawson made the mistake to give the race up, and now Mario makes the mistake of not giving the penalty back. Two pretty similar issues, actually. And Lawson makes the corner, Mario has to go through the grass, and I think the big distinction here to make, and I know he went through the grass, so it visually looks different from guys going through on that cut through that used to be the racetrack into the carousel. The distinction to make is, you know, we saw Alex Viscarella miss it through the pavement earlier. Yes, it looks visually different, but it's effectively the same thing. And I think here, if Mario were to keep the wheel straight and go through the pavement there, like the cut through, I think everybody would be seeing it as the exact same incident. So, I mean, this is unfortunately a really tough call for them to have to make, and it was really tough to go back and look at. But I think at the end of the day, per the rules that drivers were informed of, it is technically the right call. It's just a really unfortunate one that we unfortunately have to end things off on.
Right. I mean, nonetheless, we were still treated to a fantastic battle. Yeah, wild race. Lawson Peel was fast enough to go for the lead. It's just crazy. These two battle it out at the end of these road courses. Now Peel looks like he's gotten the best of Mario both times.
Yeah, so let's grab Lawson Peel, and he is our race winner per race control. And Lawson, a bizarre way to end things off here at Watkins Glen, but you're our race winner.
Yeah, I was certainly getting nervous having to wait a while like that, but you know, they told us before the race in the drivers meeting, you know, if you miss the bus stop, you have to come to a complete stop, and race control reminded us of that multiple times during the race. So when that happened, I kind of went into cruise control mode there, and I didn't want to make a mistake myself and push off the track or something, and so I was kind of just waiting for them to call it, and I got down into turn one. He was right on me, you know, and I got down into turn one and got off wide a little too quick and got a slowdown. So that's why I had to kind of give the position back to him there with a couple to go. But I was kind of taking it easy because I was expecting him to get that penalty. So, you know, I know he crossed the line ahead of me. I wish I could have just, you know, I don't want to win like that. I wish we could have just raced it out. But I mean, that they covered that loud and clear. So, I mean, I hate to see that, but yeah, I was sort of on a mission, you know, when he said last week he was the best road course racer in the series. I wanted to have something to say about that. That's my third win of the year on the road course. I know the first one I did spin him at Coda, and I hated that happen. I wanted to just race that out because I had been catching him the past 10 laps or so, and I felt like I was faster than him at the end there. And then the other one I won at Sonoma, he actually wasn't there for, so I would have, you know, we'll let that one go. But I definitely wanted to make him pay for saying that.
We get the win here at Watkins Glen through some interesting circumstances. We saw in lap 46 coming up to well, where we had the incident, you made some contact. We know there's little bits of animosity here and there between you two. You're both so good. You both won so many races. Now the total works up to, 12 races between the two of you. Obviously, like I said, there's that little bit of animosity. What is that like when you're racing this guy for this race, when you make, obviously, a little bit of contact in turn 7? What's the thought process like?
Well, I don't think there's any animosity. I would just call it a friendly rivalry. I mean, we've always raced pretty well together. We were in a league before this, and it was kind of the same way. I mean, we're competitors. We like to beat each other, but we've never really had, big problems to speak of. I mean, I know that Coda deal happened, which was obviously my fault, and I take full responsibility for that. But, I was catching him there, and he blocked me going into 7 a little bit, and so I just gave him a little bump. I thought that was pretty clean and was able to get the position on him. And then I knew he was about to bump me back going into turn 1, so I kind of checked up early and let him go ahead and hit me, so where I could, he could not shove me off the track. But it was a fierce battle. I mean, we were both running like 110 3s and 4s there. 110 5s there every lap of that last run, which is way faster than we've gone all week. And we were just both hitting perfect laps there. It was pretty incredible. So, I mean, we were really evenly matched. I mean, the clean air was so important, and I didn't know if I was even going to have a shot to get up to his bumper. Thankfully, I did. And again, I hate it kind of ends up like this, but it is what it is.
And this is our final time covering you guys. Next week, we wrap up the regular season, though, at Daytona. And with this result, Mario being moved to the end of the lead lap, that is now 29th position for him. You're very much in contention for this regular season championship. You've locked up the number 1 seed in the playoffs. How do you go into Daytona and manage the risk? I mean, obviously, very huge risk going into Daytona at any point in time for any kind of reason. But you could gain so much and lose so much at the same time.
I think my one and only priority at Daytona is going to be to help one of my teammates win, either Brandon or Daniel or Cody that needs a win. Joe and I, and Joe, Steven, and I all have multiple wins. So I'm kind of looking at Daytona as an opportunity to help Brandon or Daniel or Cody and see if we can sneak them into victory lane at Daytona.
Well, there you go, Lawson Peel after winning Watkins Glen by some precarious circumstances, but Lawson, you are the winner, at least as of now, deemed by Race Control. Congratulations this evening, and best of luck in these playoffs.
Appreciate it, man.
Lawson with a big win this evening here at Watkins Glen. Let's talk to the guy on the other side of this, though, Emerson. I can only imagine there are some different feelings, and let's hear it from Mario Moreta himself.
Well, driver of the number 99 led 32 laps scoring-wise and crossed the line in first, but you will not be credited with a first-place finish today. You already, was moved to the last car in the lead lap. Mario, what do you think?
You can't change the mind of the admin and the race control. I think it's unfair. They said there was no contact entering the final bus or into the bus stop, and I don't mind if there was contact. I mean, we're racing hard, and I honestly had a blast while doing it. But on my screen, my wheel jerks to the left from the contact, and I got a 1x or 0x to 1x car contact on my iRacing log. So I know we touched, and I want to make it up, because if I know we didn't touch, I would have stopped and just taken my second place. But I'm trying to fight for a regular season champion, and I'm trying to get back to that number 1 seed during the playoffs, because helps more playoff points you get, the more it helps, and it's also a confidence booster during the playoffs.
Right. Was that presented in the drivers meeting pre-race that you had to stop, and was it on the term that you were uncontacted entering the bus stop, or was it just plain?
Yeah, they said pre-race that we had to stop. We cut the bus stop, so that was clarified. After I went to the bus stop, I have an admin in my team, and I kept talking to him like, hey, should I stop? We made door-to-door contact, and I got shoved off track. I don't know if I should stop or just let him by, or just serve the penalty as it is. And it was so much confusion at the time. We didn't all we were told is if you cut the bus stop, you have to stop, and I didn't want to take the risk of stopping and losing my race win. So, I kept going, hoping that admins or the race control would see the contact that was made. But, you can't control everything. You can't win everything. So it is what it is.
Well, there you go. Unfortunately, it won't be the win or a second place tonight. But you do, obviously, you have the playoffs coming up. You have Daytona coming up in the playoffs. And this won't, affect your eligibility in the playoffs by any means. You'll still be, I believe, the second seed. So how are you looking at Daytona coming up and setting yourself up for a playoff run?
Just make up for the lack of points I secured in this race. I'm not going to take it passively easy, and I'm not going to be delicate or, I guess, nice to other drivers. I'm going to go in Daytona a little selfish. Kind of the attitude I have now after what happened tonight. So do what I can, and I'll try to, get some stage wins maybe, or secure the win at the end. Just depends. It happens. Daytona's Daytona, so a lot can happen, and just have to, keep my head up after this. This really sucks.
Most definitely, Mario. Well, unfortunate circumstances. You obviously showed you had a lot of pace today, and you did get the stage 1 victory. So there's some positives to leave the race with today. Obviously, not the big one, and not the victory for the 99 team. But best luck to you in the coming weeks, and as you make your playoff bid here in the MPI Cup Series for the 5th season. And hopefully you have yourself a great run next week.
Thank you guys, and I appreciate you guys for covering the season on such short notice. You guys have been amazing.
We certainly appreciate that. Mario Miranda wraps up this evening, 32 laps led, and unfortunately a 29th position finish. Let's go ahead and move down then to Austin Reedy, who finishes in the, would have been the 3rd spot, now the 2nd spot. This is interesting. Again, just so many different ripples in all of this. And Austin, it's now a 2nd place finish for you in the TJ's Team 96 car. How do you wrap the whole night up? Obviously, you had one heck of a run back through the field from the mid-teens up into 3rd place, and then 2nd place suddenly. How do you wrap it all up?
That was so chaotic after that stage, too. I wish I would have planned it a little bit better with the fuel strategy to get out of that hornet's nest a little bit, but it was a dogfight trying to get back through there. I mean, it was just trying to dodge wrecks, get around people, and not get wrecked. It was crazy, but P2 with the stage 1's pretty good going into Daytona, which is going to be probably even more crazier than this, so we're ready though.
Well, you go back to Daytona, of course, where you have a race win on the season, and now you can bet yourself as far as the playoff seeding with a win next week. You can still get up to 3 wins. What is the strategy? Is it just go all out from the drop of the green flag? Do you sit back and play the stages? I mean, there's different ways you can do things at Daytona. What are you going for?
Oh, we're going for broke. We're doing stage wins and the win. Daytona, anything can happen. There's too much luck involved there to try to think about it too much. So show up and just put our car in the right spot sometimes and try to get the win at the end. Try to get a couple stage wins or a stage win, just to give that little bit more of a boost going into the playoffs. But yeah, there's not much going in next week instead of just luck and praying. I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, Austin, I love the attitude here going into the final race of the regular season. Congratulations on the top 2 this evening. Almost was a top 3. Congratulations, though. 2nd place has got to feel pretty good. And best of luck for the playoffs.
Yep, thank you, man.
Austin Reedy claws back up into the top 2. Let's now bring in Curtis Kelly, who finishes 3rd this evening by virtue of the technicality, Emerson.
And a great run for Curtis Kelly tonight. Curtis, it looked like you had some nice pace in the number 29 machine. How were you feeling in it?
I was feeling great. We made some good strategy calls. We got a little bit lucky with some of the chaos that did happen out there. Really, right place, right time. I was hoping for a little bit more chaos from the 2 out front there, but they had some crazy pace in that final stage. I felt like I was setting heaters, but the car was going away from me, and they just kept getting faster. Just a good race all around, though. Nice to come back after Richmond and finish up front and get some good stage points heading into the playoffs.
So I imagine you were also on Team no set the tires this race. So how did you play your strategy throughout the day?
We were a little bit confused, honestly, Reedy and I, by what was going on with the DVR guys. We aren't sure why they were pitting during those early yellows that we had. We knew an early pit stop at some point in the race, like maybe if you got a yellow during that second stage was going to be a possibility, but it seemed too early then. And I think they kind of paid the price later on, getting caught up in stuff and just wrong place, wrong time, and throwing away some track position and still needing to come down. But we knew we could make both stages on fuel, so that was our game plan from the start. We weren't planning on taking tires. I actually took left sides, which I rarely ever do, but I took left sides here at that pit stop, and I think it helped for a little bit. Once everything kind of leveled out, that obviously went away, and Reedy was reeling me in. Definitely messed up a few times there, but overall, really interesting strategy race from people making different decisions. Mario coming in early for that track position later on. Made for a fun, exciting race.
Absolutely. And now I think with that great run here, finishing third at all things considered, you should be looking pretty stout entering Daytona. So what is the game plan heading into next week, and how do you feel about setting yourself up for a potential playoff run?
I mean, keep our nose clean, try and stay out of trouble, try not to make any new enemies heading into the playoffs. It's going to be some tight racing to make those cuts. We don't have any playoff points, I don't think, heading into this, so I know some people out there are already well ahead of me in the standings. But really, just run a team game that day. Try and get some of our guys up there, maybe pull a win for somebody. You never know, Daytona, anything could happen. You could have a new winner, could have a new playoff contender.
There you go, a third place finish for you tonight, Curtis. Congratulations on the podium finish after a wild race, and best luck to you at Daytona and the rest of the season, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for being on board with us this season. It was a great broadcast.
We appreciate Curtis Kelly's fine words there. Let's go ahead and run back through these results then, Emerson. Now that we know the call, we know how this is going to work out. Mario Miranda will not win this race. Will finish 29th instead. Lawson Peel wins today at Watkins Glen. Then it's Austin Reedy, Curtis Kelly, Austin Shoemaker, Justin Erb. Your top five. Pretty cool then. All right, first race out with the Whiplash Simcams number 24 on track. We get a top five. That is very, very cool to see for Justin Erb. Glad he gets a top five, and he is the only driver to do so that was on that winning Sega Keith Motorsports team from the Le Mans 24 that wrapped up earlier today, and he gets that spot by 2/10 over his team owner himself, Warren Kyle Keith, who finishes 7th. And then actually that entire team finishes all together 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, becomes 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Very cool that they were all able to finish in those positions. Daniel Michel wraps up in 9th. And, well, now for your top 10, Zach Wilson finishes 10th, Emerson.
Right, then that would put Steven
Looks like we had a bit of a moment there with Discord, but Steven Sempian will finish 12th place, Kip Easley 13th, James Kunkel 14th, Chris Shoemaker 15th. It looks like Discord might be back. There we go. And yes, it is. So we're back.
Right, so that would be Chris Shoemaker, 14th, Dakota Curtis 15th, Garrett Brown 16th, Justin Winters 17th, Logan Sturgeon 18th, Judd Danielson would be moved up to that 19th position, and 20th would then be Ryan Kendall, all still on the lead lap.
Finishing 21st now will be Travis Stevens ahead of Brandon Banks in 22nd. Somewhat of a comeback for Brandon, but still a lot of points lost today. A big-time missed opportunity there after contact in turn 1. Dustin Reeves will finish 23rd. Charles Phelps 25th. Ray Rogers 25th. Gotta make sure. This is weird to see the position and say something else. So Stevens 21st. Banks 22nd. Reeves 23rd. Phelps 24th. Rogers 25th. Casey Knighton will finish 26th. Isaac Mock will get credit for 27th place. Bill Schoonover 28th. And Mario Miranda will be credited with 29th position, scored at the end of the longest line, which is the end of the lead lap. Jesse Whittington will take credit for 30th place tonight, 4 laps down, the first car out of the race.
And then wrapping things up, we have the 01 of Parker Bland coming home in 31st, 6 laps down. Chris Progar, 32nd, 9 down. Justin Hendry, 33rd and 10 back. Richard Swavely, 34th, 12 back. Sean Kalis, 35th, and 17 back. Kevin Hurley comes from 36, 23 back. Cody Kinsey, 37, 27 back. Daniel Holdcroft finishes 38, 41 back, also with Joe Sanchez. That trouble back in VS's early on in this race.
That wraps up the unofficial race results this evening. Let's take a look at upcoming broadcasts here for PitStop TV. Wednesday evening, it is the Outlaw Sim Series from the Nashville Super Speedway, race 26 of their 26 race regular season. And it is the cutoff race going into the playoffs. Emerson, tell us not only about Nashville and the cutoff race going into the playoffs, but also how about that all-star race at Kansas?
Oh, most definitely. So Bristol, this past weekend, or this past Wednesday, was wild and actually ended up being a fantastic race. We're going from one concrete track to another. It is the final race of the regular season. Playoff seating will be set at Nashville, and I can't wait to see how everything is done under the hot Nashville sun for 150 laps. And then the All-Star race coming up in a week and a half from now from the Kansas Speedway. It was actually crazy with the schedule selection for the Outlaw Sim Series that Kansas wasn't thrown on the schedule. And, well, league owner Adam Gardner had to say, well, you know what? Kansas is still a great track. This is iRacing updated with the multi-grooves. Let's make it the All-Star race. So it'll be the All-Star race itself will be segmented. There'll be an open. It'll be a fun night next Wednesday night as well, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. But this upcoming Wednesday, regular season finale, 7:30 p.m. Eastern from the Nashville Super Speedway. You won't want to miss it.
And nestled there in the middle of those, look at that, Monday evening. Now, this is not tomorrow Monday. This is Monday, August 29th. The time is to be announced. We have NASCAR stock cars, the Gen 6 cars, on a rallycross track at Sonoma Raceway in Napa Valley, California. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is a completely new kind of thing, to me anyways, but Parker Bland stands by it, has a lot of fun with it, puts together fantastic setups, and we're finally giving Parker his opportunity to get this in front of people. And yeah, we're going to have NASCAR stock cars going rallycross racing on PitStop TV Monday, August 29th. I'm expecting that to be starting around 6:30, 7 o'clock Eastern. The time is still, like I said, to be announced, to be determined, honestly, but to be announced as well. I'm really excited for this, and I know Parker's excited as well, and I got to work with Parker on some more events after this as well. I love the idea that Parker Bland and Justin Erb bring to the table for some of these events, so they're both working on this, mostly Parker, and serious shout out to Parker Bland. This is a really cool idea. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited for how this is going to work out, and the fact that we get to bring this to PitStop TV, Emerson, and there's plenty of places to follow along to find all things PitStop TV.
Absolutely. You can check out our social media, our Facebook page at facebook.com/PitStopTV, our Twitter at PitStopTV_, our Instagram at Pit_Stop_TV. We're live tonight to our YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1, and our Twitch channel at Twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV.
Thanks for joining us for the MPI Cup Series regular season. As we mentioned earlier, this is it for us. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but next weekend, Sunday, August 28th. Podium Esports takes back over here for the MPI Cup Series, and this is the part that I knew would kind of check me up a little bit. This was unfortunate for me to have to tell everybody, but we are done with our portion of coverage here for the MPI Cup Series. It went by in pretty much 2 instants. It really felt like it went by very, very quickly. I know we started things way back at race 6 after taking over from Freaky Fast Broadcasting and from Podium Esports, but man, I mean, it's crazy how quickly it's gone by. Hopefully we made a lot of lifetime fans and friends, more importantly, out in the YouTube chat. I know we always see Joe Morendo, we always see Steven Stempian, we always see T-Bland72. We see so many of you guys check in every single week. I know we have some core guys that we always have watching from the days of when we used to cover the North iRacing series. I know some of those were out there, but it is really cool having all of you guys around each and every Sunday, and unfortunately, that has come to an end for us here at PitStop TV. But Podium Esports, the place to watch the rest of the MPI Cup Series. We know they're going to do a fantastic job taking you through each of the rounds, as well as Daytona next week for race 25. So 11 more races to go in this MPI Cup Series. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, to watch and kind of take the backseat role, Emerson, and just see how this season plays out from here.
Absolutely, it's been a fantastic season. Some wild racing, and honestly, it's been fun. I think it's been a while since I've been able to see consistent consistently large fields kind of go through a whole like NASCAR season here on iRacing, and it's been a blast. It's been a pleasure to cover, and yeah, MPI's been super fun, super entertaining, and I hope it continues on to the playoffs or podium.
And it's all a big thanks to the partners of the MPI Cup Series, of course, Max Pappas Innovations, Auto Tempest, KListSynthetics.com, and SimMax. Big shout out to our partners as well here at PitStop TV, Whiplash Media, SimCams, SimRentMarket.com, and Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. That will do it for us here at Watkins Glen. Emerson, final thoughts?
Again, a fantastic race. Wish it was completely decided on the track, but of course, race control had to step in there post-race, and Lawson Peel ended up getting another win. He's been absolutely dominant on the road courses. Even if Peel didn't cross line first, he was still very much one of the fastest today, and was very much capable of winning the race on the track itself. So this delivering winner nonetheless. A fun race, chaotic race. I think a typical Watkins Glen race, and yeah, fun road course coming here for the penultimate race of the regular season. Can't wait to see how Daytona and the playoffs go.
In the background, it looks like Curtis Kelly's mishap that was just barely caught on camera there is how he lost the position to Austin Reedy, which was eventually for second. But seriously, a big thank you to everybody watching this entire season, this entire regular season anyways, of what we've covered of it, from Austin all the way to Richmond and back again here at Watkins Glen. Just a really crazy season. We can go back through these races, and every single one, it seemed like, was, for lack of a better term, a banger. It was always a lot of fun. Circuit of the Americas started off with one heck of a battle with Mario Miranda and Lawson Peel, and that bump and run for the win. Richmond, Bristol Dirt, Talladega, Dover, Darlington, Kansas, the All-Star Race at Texas, Charlotte, Gateway, Sonoma, Road America, Atlanta, New Hampshire, Pocono, Indianapolis, Michigan, Richmond, and Watkins Glen. It's been a lot of fun, a very, very fun season. We'll turn things over now. A big thank you to all of you for watching along. A big thank you for all of you subscribing here on YouTube or over on Facebook, on Twitch, wherever you're watching from. Thanks so much for doing so. It's been a lot of fun. A shout out to Emerson and everybody else who joined me and others throughout the entire portion of our coverage here with the MPI Cup Series. There was kind of a good mix. We had, I think, Devin Zimmerman called one of the races. I know we had Ed Scherer on a lot, Zach Murders a few times, JP Costa along with us. A lot of fun. It really has been a lot of fun. One of the best series we've ever covered here on PitStop TV, and I'm sure that will stand for quite a long time, if not forever. So seriously, Dakota Curtis and everybody else here at the MPI Cup Series, hats off to you guys. Props to you for the series you run, and we can't wait to see where it goes from here. Again, that will do things for us here with the MPI Cup Series. It's never easy to end these kinds of things off, especially when you have to say goodbye, but that will do it for us. Congratulations, Lawson Peel, on winning an 8th race and locking himself in as the top playoff contender this season in the MPI Cup Series. Congratulations to, well, whoever wins the regular season championship. It's going to be either Lawson or Mario next week at Daytona. You've got to tune in to Podium Esports to find out. That will do it for us here at Watkins Glen. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV in the booth with Emerson Arden. We had several guys on social media. Again, Zach Murdis, Ed Scherer, Devin Kent Zimmerman, there we go, and even JP Costa a time or two. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you hopefully next time for the Outlaws Sim Series on Wednesday here on PitStop TV.
Is that I own MPI, the steering wheel company, and I'm building the steering wheel. This is my creation.
This is yours?
Yes.
It's so sexy.
The steering wheel, it's a very unique thing. It's shaped on the hand of Scott Dixon.
His hand.
Yeah. This grip has 27% more grip feel than suede. Scott, in the race, is going to make less effort when he drives. When you're in the car, it's like lifting, it's like having 40-pound dumbbell like this in the car.
For how long?
3.5 hours. You know, average heart rate in the car, never below 150. never below 150. You need to be a real athlete to drive.
Yeah.
They exercise every day. So this is my creation.
Amazing.
And we did.
Polar. Yeah. Needed F-150 for Smith build.
Got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide. Even those classified sites. Auto Tempest. All the cars, one search,